Greetings, viewers of this Earth-Based Records channel on YouTube. My name is Samir Goradia. I am your host here on the News Buck Show, Walter. And this is about the current events regarding war, particularly Ukraine, but situation in other places. Yes, definitely. We are having a war in Ukraine. This is at the border between Russia and Germany, basically on the border areas of Russia and the United States and NATO. They're both sending military personnel to the area of Ukraine and to determine basically the borders between Eastern and Western Europe, Rome to the south, including fighting in Romania and Bulgaria, also adjoining Ukraine. Now, here in the United States, yes, things are settling down, but uncertainty in politics. The next major case, of course, on abortion rights. Basically, everybody is pretty much fixed in their votes on this question of abortion rights in the United States. There is the additional question of the birth control pill, the morning after pill as well, which are two separate types of pills that can prevent pregnancy. Additionally, closing out the war in Korea, closing out the war in the Middle East. Additional lawsuits relating to war crimes. The Syrian in Syria, the war crimes charges have been resolved. Germany itself, capturing and sending to trial the Syrian, one of the people involved in the mass murder in Syria. With regards to the Middle East, basically all the peace processes are in process. Korea also, the peace treaty has been signed. Afghanistan, the peace treaty has been signed, and settling in the different boundaries of Afghanistan, particularly in relation to Pakistan. So yes, but Kazakhstan, obviously, the Russians made an incursion and then withdrew troops. These are in the border areas, Kazakhstan, in transiting goods along the New Silk Road or Belt and Road Initiative, and so forth. As far as I understand, the financial questions are really individualized investigations of people's finances. They really don't impact right and wrong in regard to the war, generally speaking. The financial investigations that have been going on have nothing to do with national fault during wartime, which country is at fault. These are individualized financial investigations about what you have been doing during this past war. And in Israel, of course, the situation of former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not fully been resolved. With regards to the war crimes that Israel or Palestinians are being charged with, these are on hiatus. It's not going to be a financial matter. It's going to be a question of who takes the blame. Certainly Syria, which is one of those parties participating in the same war, closer to Hamas than the Palestinian Liberation Organization. But certainly Syria is basically more Hamas liability as far as the war crimes which have already been charged against Syria. The question is, are Palestinians gonna be charged with war crimes? But that's not the real issue. The real issue is, whether Israelis will face their charges. Particular problem especially with someone like Benjamin Netanyahu. Is in order for him to face charges, and he has a plea agreement in place. But regarding to war crimes, he would have to leave Israel uh, to face those charges, and Israel being considered holy land for Jewish people and for Palestinian people. The main problem is interrupting by mentally deranged individuals who don't want peace in this world. These mentally deranged individuals are a menace to society, regardless of their race, their creed, their color, or their national origin. Obviously, these are preventing the good people of this world, whether Israel, Syria, or Palestine, or Turkey for that matter, from resolving this question about whether somebody like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will ever have to face charges, up in, the Netherlands, as we settle out our residential addresses, post-war, as the war, Middle Eastern war comes to a close, people need, long-term residential location. Now that the plea bargain is in place for Benjamin Netanyahu with regards to financial allegations in Israel, he may be subject to courts in Europe. And that's the question there. We remind mentally deranged individuals who really have no useful purpose, in this planet, just to, do something useful. Samir Goradia here for Earth-Based Records, Buck Show Walter, News of the War.